So I'm in Texas and I stepped off the plane middle of the week and I was saying nothing is hotter than Texas heat in the summer. And then the inflation numbers came out and those are hot. So this is an experiment, outdoor Texas. If I could do this without sweating, we're gonna find out which is hotter, inflation numbers or Texas heat. This is the weekly report on Major Money Matters. So here I am in Arlington, Texas at my mom's house, and man, I'm telling you, it is absolutely scorching hot. You got the glare on this side of my face. I wanted it to be there so if you don't live in Texas, you can feel what it's like to be in Texas right now. But whether you're in Texas or not, you are feeling the heat from these inflation numbers that came out this week. CPI data was released for the month of June, and I'm telling you, things are getting hotter and hotter in the form of how expensive it is just to live. And we'll go through a couple of these numbers. So CPI data is out. Inflation numbers are at our top level, 9.1%. That's replacing our number from last year or last month at 8.6%. Rents are up 5.8% year over year. Gas up 60% year over year. And food at 10% year over year, 10.4%. Used cars up 7% year over year, and it's getting more and more expensive for us to even live in this economy. And the Federal Reserve is taking notice. Now, a big day is going to be on June 27th when we look at things and figure out whether the Fed is going to increase the federal funds rate. Now, there is news out this past week from Governor Waller. Now, the Federal Reserve has voting members, the governors are some of the voting members, and they are saying that they could increase the federal funds rate, the Federal Reserve rate, by 100 basis points coming up this at the end of this month. So that could be a humongous indicator of what's going to happen next in our economy. Now, last time the Fed raised the Fed's funds rate, mortgage interest rates went down significantly. So anybody that tells you that just because the Federal Reserve is going to raise the Fed funds rate that we're going to have problems with interest rates, not necessarily true based on what happened last month when the Federal Reserve raised the Fed's funds rate by 75 basis points. So inflation numbers came out this week, and when inflation numbers come out that hot, you would expect the bond market to respond very dramatically in a negative direction. Even if we take a look at the charts and take a look at what happened when the May inflation numbers came out in the month of June, that created a catastrophic downward turn that actually didn't reverse itself until the Federal Reserve raised the Fed funds rate about 2 days later, and then you started to see this nice progression back for bonds to recover. So it was pretty bad. So you would expect these numbers to have the same effect. And initially, when the market opened on Wednesday and those numbers came out, it did have a negative effect. But if we take a look at the chart for that day, we actually ended up with a green day, and we ended up slightly higher than the market actually opened. We went down as low as 60 basis points, but we bounced back really nicely, and we've stayed around the same level until Friday when we gained about 30 to 40 basis points in the bond market. And so you're thinking, why would this have this sort of effect? And the truth is, investors understand that many things are going on in the economy right now. You have supply chain issues still going on. You have a pending recession and recessionary indicators going on right now. The unemployment rate has actually started to tick up. And we've told you before, if you follow this channel, that when the unemployment rate starts to tick up, it's not when unemployment level is low, it's when it takes that turn to starts to go up. That's when you can expect a recessionary indicator along with some other things that we're seeing. So investors are seeing this and they're saying basically, yeah, I know inflation's hot. Everybody knows it. It's also presumed by some people that this inflation report is a little bit time late. So these numbers are coming out in July for the end of June. So basically you've had about 15 days or so, and you're starting to see some deflationary pricing. You're starting to see gas go down a little bit. from its peak in June. So you're starting to see things. So investors are taking all of these things into account, combined with the pending Fed rate hike that is likely to happen, that is going to happen on the 27th. The only question is now on the 27th whether they hike the Fed's funds rate 75 basis points or 100 basis points. Now, I presume you could see when they hike the Fed funds rate, you may start to see a downward trend in mortgage rates, just like we saw in June. So keep your eye on that around the 27th. All right. The Fed is going to hike rates, okay? And I want to take some time to talk about this recession that is coming, and how all recessions are not created equal. You could end up with a recession that is deeper and longer, because it's not just the United States Fed that is hiking their Fed funds rate. Basically all central banks right now are hiking their Fed funds rate for their country. And you start to see when the Fed hikes those rates, they usually hike us into a recession. And it's not just going to be a United States recession, it is going to be a pretty big recession, because it's going to affect many, many countries at the same time. So you might see deeper recessions. So if you're in the market for a mortgage, recession equals lower mortgage rates, because the Fed hikes rates to stop inflation, and then they end up stimulating the economy by cutting rates. They cut rates. Mortgage rates tend to go down in a recession or immediately after a recession. Last thing I want to cover here, Redfin put out an article this week that talked about how prices are decreasing in homes. Now, I wanted to dig deeper here, and shout out to the guys at MBS Highway, Barry Habib, and the team that put this together. I want to take a look at this and analyze this from a deeper perspective, because people have the feeling that the market is slowing down. And really, my belief is that this is getting back to normal, and this is more advantageous for buyers. So it's a very good market right now if you're a buyer. You have your option of many different homes to choose from. 9 times out of 10, if I have a client that's putting in a strong offer, and they want a house, they're putting in a strong offer on that house, we're going into escrow, because there are less offers on homes right now, and the more qualified buyers are actually getting into homes. So you look at this article from Redfin, and I want to take a look at these numbers here. The percentage of homes that are selling above asking price, they're at 52% right now. Last year, this time, they were at 53%. The average percentage of houses that are being sold, the average percentage above asking that houses are being sold. So right now it's 1.9%. Last year, this time, it was 2.2%. What does that mean? If you have a house that's listed at $100,000, that house is going under contract for $100,900. Last year, this time, it was $102,200. So you have a little bit of a decrease there, but still very, very strong numbers. Accepted offers within 2 weeks. Right now, it's 48% have accepted offer within 2 weeks. Last year, this time, it was 49%, okay? Average list to contract days is 18 days, which is consistent to where we were a year ago at 18 days. So the feeling of the housing market coming down, it's a different market, and I will account for that. Real estate agents will also account for that. But where you're seeing the most significant drop in prices is where you have people who are listing their homes way too high, thinking they could get these exorbitant prices for housings and not realizing that the market has changed and nobody may have not told the sellers. So if you're a real estate agent and you watch this channel and watch these weekly updates that come out, the only thing I could recommend for you is that you set competitive prices for your homes, be realistic in your pricing, advise your clients correctly, and then you too will be going into escrow and not sitting on the market for an extended amount of time. I will tell the realtors that listen to this channel, do not have a file drop out because of financing. Please call me first. My objective is to get people into homes and to make deals happen. So whatever it takes to do that, that's what I want to do. So don't have a client fall out of escrow because of a financing issue if you haven't called me first and asked me, hey Major, can you do anything with this? Can your team help? Because 9 times out of 10, we can figure out something to save that deal, okay? So be sure to reach out to me and my team first, okay? So the question was, what's hotter, inflation or the Texas heat? And the question was, can I do this without basically breaking a sweat? And the answer is emphatically no. Under this hat, I'm sweating. Under this t-shirt, I'm sweating. Texas heat is absolutely ridiculous in the summertime. But inflation, no matter where you live, you're going to feel the effects of that. See you next time on Major Money Matters.